Hey everyone, welcome to this week's episode of the Profit Share Podcast, and welcome back as we continue through the series of reading and narrating our book, The Profit Share Advantage, that Linda and I wrote, helping you be able to unlock passive income within KW. And we're now in we'll be covering chapter 3 today, which is all around driving traffic. So here's the great thing. I think this is probably our shortest chapter of all of them in the book. And we're going to talk a lot about how you go out and find people in the world who have raised their hand and said, hey, I'm kind of curious about this thing called real estate, and get those people to come into your world. And again, if you heard the last week's podcast episode, then you know what the secret is now. So I guess the cat's out of the bag, right? The secret is the system that we have called profit share sites for agents. And so how do we get people in the world who are interested in real estate to find you, and then go through the process of talking with you, and then ultimately moving into having an introduction to a Keller Williams office, all brokered through a relationship with you. So the first step is we got to find the people, right? And we got to get them to us. So that's what today's episode is about. I think you're going to enjoy it, because what I love is, although it's short, that means that driving traffic is actually relatively simple. And simple to me always means implementation. Okay, it's much easier to implement something that's simple than it is something that's complex. A few quick reminders before we jump into today's chapter. If you have not gotten a copy of our book, The Profit Share Advantage, I'd like to ask you to please do that. I would encourage you just go to Amazon.com, and you're going to type in The Profit Share Advantage. You're going to see the book. We've purposefully made that as absolute cheap as possible. We make no money from the book. It's Linda and I's way of just giving back to the ecosystem. So my ask is you'll get 2 copies, one for you and one for someone in KW that you want to bless with the gift of profit share. Okay, so if you'll please do that for us. And then the second thing is I'd like to encourage you, if you would like to learn more about actually using our system that we've created, the link will be in the description as well. And it'll tell you more about how you can get signed up and test drive our system. What I love about it is we don't do long-term commitments or contracts. So you have the ability to sign up, test drive it. If it's not for you, that's okay, don't use it. But what we find with most people is by getting into action with profit share and getting appointments on your calendar, good things typically follow. So I'd like to encourage you to do that today. So with that being said, we'll see you at the end of the episode as we talk through chapter 3.
Welcome to the Profit Share Podcast with your hosts, Linda and Pres McKissack.
Hi, I'm Andy Finstermaker, and I oversee client support, client management, and the overall profit share community around profit share sites and market center sites. Today, we're looking at chapter 3 from The Profit Share Advantage by Pres McKissack. Chapter 3, Driving Traffic. As we discussed in the previous chapter, you can break down this unique process of sponsoring 15 to 150 people a year into 3 phases. The first phase is learning how to drive traffic to a profit share site. This strategy flips the traditional lead generation process for recruits on its head. Instead of making outbound connections, this process is designed so that recruits are directed to your website, register, and schedule calls with you. It's like if a real estate agent woke up on a Monday morning and saw they had 6 appointments scheduled with them for the week to talk about buying or selling a home. Except in this case, it's to join KW. So, if you like consistently working with warm recruiting leads who want to talk to you, then this process is for you. Driving traffic to your site. Most of those who use this strategy are leveraging a few powerful platforms to generate consistent traffic to their profit share site. Those platforms are Indeed, LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. Over the last few years, we have found that the best place to start is LinkedIn and Indeed. You are likely familiar with both platforms, but if not, LinkedIn is the #1 social network for business professionals, and Indeed is the #1 online job board in the world. Each of these platforms spends millions a year to generate millions or even billions of eyeballs. Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube are also great platforms, although these tend to be more advanced or supplementary platforms for our members. Let's take a look at why we leverage these specific platforms in a little bit more detail. LinkedIn. At the time of writing this book, LinkedIn is the 25th most visited website in the world. It is the #1 platform for business professionals, and each month has roughly 310 million active users. LinkedIn has a job board feature that boasts 40 million people who search for jobs on LinkedIn every single week. Due to the quality of candidates on LinkedIn and the massive monthly searches, we teach our members how to leverage the LinkedIn job board feature to post free or paid job ads for a career in real estate. Indeed. Indeed is the #1 job board in the world, with over 350 million unique visitors every single month. It's crazy to fathom how many people are on this site every month. Due to the sheer volume of people searching for different career paths, it's no wonder why Indeed is one of the 2 key platforms our members use to drive traffic. Back when Nick and I first started, we were using Indeed exclusively and were able to post free ads all over the country. We were averaging 1,000 new leads a month. It was absolutely insane. Indeed has since changed their process to require mostly paid advertising. However, it is still an incredible platform to generate a lot of traffic each month to your profit share site. Facebook and Instagram. It goes without saying that Facebook is the #1 social networking platform in the world. They have over 3 billion active users monthly, which provides a few different opportunity paths. One of the features Facebook provides is the ability to run targeted ads. The other option is to post free short-form content about a career in real estate, directing viewers over to your profit share site to get started. YouTube. YouTube, which is owned by Google, is a powerful platform. Listen to these crazy stats. YouTube gets 25% of the global mobile traffic, and YouTube's short-form content feature, YouTube Shorts, has had as many as 3.5 billion daily views. These numbers are mind-blowing, and trends continue to show that YouTube and video content is the growing preferred method of entertainment and education. Creators can not only use this tool to create short-form content that generates leads, but they can also get paid by YouTube directly to post video content and monetize their videos, called the YouTube Partner Program, or YPP. By allowing companies to run ads during their videos once their profile has met certain metrics. Again, for those who are just getting started with this process, we recommend you start with LinkedIn and Indeed, as these have proven time and time again to effectively produce recruiting leads at scale. At the time of writing this book, LinkedIn gives you the ability to run free job postings, which are a great way to get started with a low or no budget. For our members who are ready to go to the next level, Indeed is a great platform to leverage. With Indeed, you will likely need to pay for your job posting. However, you get to set your budget. Typically, our members who are using Indeed are spending anywhere between $100 and $300 a month on generating recruiting leads. Over the last few years, we have been amazed at how many leads you can generate off of job board platforms. All of our members have access to an amazing resource center, which I've really helped build, with step-by-step guides on how to use Indeed and LinkedIn to generate recruiting leads, so you don't have to guess how to generate leads. You just follow the proven process. We have also tested different job ads and give you the ones that have proven to convert traffic into leads. After you have set up your job ads and begin to drive traffic, phase 2 begins, which is generating recruiting leads. In the next chapter, we're going to dive deeper into how you convert traffic into recruiting leads and the power of our platform's automations to nurture those leads and push them to take the right next step.
All right, we're back. Great job, Andy, on reading us through chapter 3. And excited to kind of deep dive. Let's talk about this chapter where we're discussing driving traffic.
Yeah. So, one of the things that I always like about this chapter is it's so much easier than people think. getting set up, especially with job boards. Job boards, the leverage of those kinds of platforms, Indeed, LinkedIn, is tremendous. And one thing that in talking about this you wanted us to touch on is the resource center that we've built around our Profit Share Sites platform. And we just give you an easy play to walk through these steps, how to set it up, do all of the things, and you're off and running.
Yeah, that's right. So, Andy, in the last chapter we talked about, I'm going to recap here, the 10-80-10 method, right? Again, just reminding you, the 10-80-10 means the first 10% is the lead gen part. The middle 80% is what the system does. And then, which I think will be our next chapter we go into. And then the back 10% is the recruiting call and the handoff to a market center. So today we're talking specifically around that first 10% driving traffic, right? I want to talk for a second, Andy, around why, like the psychology behind why we've targeted Indeed, LinkedIn, places like that. Because people ask me all the time, like, why, of all the places, why not real estate schools? Why not, Facebook ads? Like, why are these the top places? And I always say, when you can lead generate with people who have intent to do something, it's always better. And what I mean by that is, think about it like this. People, why do agents spend thousands of dollars on Zillow? Okay, and let's put aside the argument of whether good leads or bad leads or whatever, right? But why does Zillow have a model where agents will pay thousands of dollars a month to be represented on Zillow? Because what Zillow knows is that they're the #1 search platform in the world for people who are wanting to look at homes. So guess what? Those leads are not the same as a Facebook lead, right? I don't go onto Facebook to look at real estate. I go on to Zillow to look at real estate. Well, same thing with people who are looking at getting into real estate. Where are those people? Well, they're either already in school, which, by the way, I think is a great model. If you're in a state where you can get a list of people who are going through licensing school, every state's different with that, so that's not as scalable of a model. Because each state is so different with that list and whether they'll let you buy it or give it or whatever. Most of them don't. But outside of people who are already in school, where are the next best group of people? Well, they're looking at jobs on the internet. And where do people go right now? Well, I can tell you 350 million of them per month go on to Indeed. So why do we push Indeed is because it has proven, and we've tested so many different methods, it's proven to be the place where people who have intent to switch careers, which is a hurdle you have to have, like someone's going to have to get over that hurdle of, I want to switch careers or I want to get in a different opportunity vehicle, right, for my life. They have to get over that hump before getting into real estate. So if we can just go where those people are, it's a whole lot easier than starting even higher up the funnel. And now I have to convince you, or I have to try and help you see that real estate's a great vehicle. So does that make sense, Andy?
Absolutely. And I mean, that's why I love Indeed and LinkedIn, because it takes less thought as well. Like, you can use Facebook and Instagram and TikTok and YouTube, but it takes time to develop that audience. It takes time for those algorithms to figure out who you're trying to target. Whereas this, you're already reaching your target audience. It just takes maybe a little bit of money.
Yep. And to that point, though, Andy, what I'm not saying in this chapter is that this will always be the truth or it is the only truth. So 100%. Although in my opinion, the most scalable routes are going to be Indeed #1 and LinkedIn #2, I also think TikTok, we've seen in KW before. Some of you may or may not have known this. Someone made a video on TikTok about the Keller Williams K-Score program, where students can get no cost to them real estate schools in select states. Someone made a TikTok video about that, and it got millions of views, and Keller Williams was inundated with leads from people who were going to the K-Score website and applying to learn more in different states. And so I will tell you, someone's going to be smart and listen to this episode and think, what would it look like if I had a strategy for TikTok to be able to push out content about real estate, the career path, the opportunities that KW provides with things like K-Score, and or using me as basically a career consultant to help them. So I think there's some really cool, unique ways that people can absolutely crush and generate a ton of traffic, but definitely the most scalable and the most automated is going to be Indeed and LinkedIn. There's no question about it.
And I would also encourage, I think we talked about it in this chapter, which is looking at it from a national standpoint as opposed to local. You mentioned going to, local real estate schools and stuff like that within your state or within your city. But if you cast your net across the nation, you're sponsoring people from all over the country into your virtual market center. And now, like, if one market center is not profitable, they're not paying out profit share, but you have, a ton of people in other market centers who might be profitable, and so you're getting profit share from that rather than putting all your eggs in one market center's basket.
Yeah, it's so true. Diversity of your downline is a really good thing. So I definitely think you're spot on. Now, with that being said, though, we do have people who have targeted specific areas. Like, I'll call out at the time of filming this, and probably for the foreseeable future, the Atlanta market is highly profitable. Those market centers do a great job and make great money. And so there are some people who specifically target Atlanta, and they're focused on building their downline there. Again, to your point, there's nothing wrong with doing that, but from scalable, easy to do, diversifying your downline, running it nationwide is definitely what we encourage most people to do when they're starting out.
Yeah. And, I know that Indeed and LinkedIn, both have some very highly limited, once again, at this time, free ads. I put that in quotations because it's highly restrictive. Right now, I'm running a free ad on LinkedIn, and it is, I'm seeing the downside of the free component of that. I'm going to probably turn on paid here in the near future, but, it's driving some traffic to my site. People are getting in, they're scheduling calls. Those who are licensed in school, it's a really cool way to start.
Yep.
But you want to open up by putting a little bit of money in there and driving traffic to really open up those floodgates and get those calls in.
Yeah, so true. I think what you're doing, again, what's cool is you can start with free, and I love that, right? Like, even though it's limiting, even though you're going to get less leads. I think you were telling me, like, you generated, it kind of caps you at like 10 leads or something like that. But
10 clicks.
10 clicks. Okay, cool.
Yeah,
and
so not even leads.
But you're converting what, 50% of those into a lead?
I'm converting about 50% of those, and so far with the last 2 runs, it's been, it's had at least one in school and at least one licensed agent. That's incredible. That's 20%.
Well, and let's just assume, you're getting 2 leads, converting those into calls. And so that's 2 a week, that's 8 a month, right? If we just kind of play that out, let's assume you recruit 50% of them, that's 2 people a month. Okay, cool. You added 24 people to your downline in 12 months, like on free, which is pretty cool. So anyways, I think the free model is great because it gets your feet wet, and then ultimately you could decide when you want to sort of turn up the juice and then move to a paid model where you're going to pay a little bit, but you're going to get way more leads and you're going to go faster with building your downline.
And I think this cues us up nicely for the next section, which is the 80%, right? The automations, the generating the actual lead. And getting people flowing into the system, the pipeline, all that kind of stuff. So, do you have anything else you wanted to add before we jump on into, I guess waiting until next week's episode? If it's already out, you're just going to jump right over into that episode.
Yeah, we're going to pull a Netflix and just binge right on into the next one, right? Anna and I will be laying in bed at night, and the Netflix pops up with you can click the next episode, or if you wait like 5 seconds, it'll be the next one. And I won't do anything. I'll just let it go. And then it will get to the end, and I'm like, oops. And then it's on the next one, right? And you just roll right into it.
That sounds so familiar.
Yeah, that's right. So yeah, we'll see you guys on the next episode as we dive into what I like to say where the magic happens, right? The automations and the beauty of the system to give you leverage. So with that being said, we'll see you guys on the next episode.